What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction to the absolutely incredible Palki Sharma. West calls Indian media coverage ill-informed. Before we dive into this, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click subscribe. Let's see what we got, Palki. Uh-oh.
Our goal on this show is pretty clear and simple too. Give you the news, context and analysis. We try not to become the news ourselves, but sometimes we just can't help it. Today is one of those days. The Economist has published an article on Indian media's coverage of diplomacy, and it mentions me by name.
Oh,
It also talks about our network. But unlike The Economist, we won't get personal. We'll stick to facts and arguments. Now, credit
I
where
like
it's
that.
due. The article gets.
I like that. I already like that little slide jab. That little slide. Unlike that, the Economist, we will stick to facts here, and we will not make it personal. No, so it's dissing you without dissing you. I like it.
We'll stick to facts and arguments. Now, credit where it's due. The article gets one thing right, just one. It says Indians and the Indian media have become more interested in foreign affairs. Whether it's the war in Ukraine or the coup in Niger or the mass shootings in America, we're more interested. And you would think that's a good thing. But The Economist disagrees. Listen to what they've said. The new media focus on India's role in the world tends to be hyper-partisan, nationalistic, and often stunningly ill-informed.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what's stunning? The level of Western arrogance on display here.
Oof.
Here's what The Economist is basically saying. Indian media is covering foreign affairs, but they don't know anything about it. It's an insult wrapped up as analysis.
Yeah.
Reminds me
Facts.
of British colonial officers. You may remember their argument from the textbooks. It's not that you don't deserve self-rule, it's that you're not capable of it. This Economist article is the 21st century update on that.
Wow.
You cover foreign policy, but you don't know it. That's what they're saying. So who does? Certainly not The Economist. This is the same agency that defended the invasion of Iraq. Look at their headline, The Case for War. In 2002, The Economist said its readers have two options. Let me quote. To give up and give in, or to remove Saddam Hussein before he gets his bomb. Painful as it is, our vote is for war. Now, I agree that Indian media has several problems. But guess what we have never done? Voted for war.
Oh.
Is this the stunning expert analysis that India lacks?
And is this Hussein? I'm not sure if this is the one. Earlier we were talking about Osama. They were talking about one of them had weapons of mass destruction, yet there was never any weapons of mass destruction found when they got him. And so I saw it in a Volker Pispers like satire thing, and he was like, there were never any weapons of mass destruction. And U.S. was, I guess because they had hired him, and then he ended up doing his own thing, and the U.S. didn't agree with what he was doing, and so then they decided to turn on him, call him a terrorist, and attack. Is what I saw in that video. And so is that the same? Is that the one where he's before he gets his bomb, and he even have a bomb the whole time? And I'm sure the government and probably the higher ups in the U.S. knew that, but the media kept telling everybody that he had weapons of mass destruction, calling him a terrorist and everything. So of course, people started to be against him because that's what everybody was being told. And so it was like, yeah, go to everybody. I guess all the citizens was like, yeah, I guess it's time to go to war because. Is that it? Is that correct, or am I wrong on that one? All right.
200,000 civilians died after the U.S. invasion of Iraq. 0 weapons of mass destruction were found.
Okay, it is.
Was that not ill-informed?
Very ill-informed.
And it wasn't just The Economist. All the so-called leading papers got it wrong, like the New York Times and the Washington Post. They supported the war in Iraq. I have another example for you. China.
Jesus.
In 1999, China joined the World Trade Organization. The Economist was thrilled. Listen to what they said. WTO membership requires a strengthened rule of law so an emboldened judiciary might one day be able to challenge party decisions. I wish I had one of those reality show buzzers, because The Economist could not have been more wrong. No court has been able to challenge the Communist Party in China. But there's more. China's membership of the WTO has the potential to change the dynamics of a political system that looks out of date. Absolutely. The dynamic has changed. Just one problem, though. It has changed for the worse. China is now ruled by its most authoritarian leader since Mao Zedong. I could go on, but you get the point. The Economist has got plenty wrong. It was wrong about Google. It was wrong about digital music. It was wrong about the 2008 financial crisis. It was also wrong about the Eurozone crisis. Yet they call the Indian media stunningly ill-informed.
Okay, so the Economist it sounds like just bad, I don't know if the newspaper, magazine, or what it was going, bad publication. They done got too much wrong at this point. And so I guess at this point, they just stopped caring whether they got things right or wrong. They just print stuff. With like a lot of American media nowadays. Just put stuff. Don't matter if it's right or wrong as long as it gets views, gets ratings. Just put whatever you want. That's wild.
I must say, full marks for audacity. It takes a special skill to be wrong so many times and still criticize others. The Economist should probably publish an article with all their mistakes. And spoiler alert, they have. It's called "To Err is Human." Let's come back to the article, though, the one they've published now. Towards the end, The Economist has some advice for the government of India. Rein in your media, that's what they're saying. If not, it will affect India's relations with the West. So much for the freedom of press. This article sort of disproves the point it makes. Yes, we have defended India's position on Ukraine, also on Pakistan and on China, but it's not because of partisanship. It's because the policy makes sense. Defending India is not the same as defending a party or a government. If only The Economist had done some research. India's opposition and government are on the same page when it comes to Ukraine. They back the same policy. And let's be clear, this is not about hyper-nationalism or partisanship or anything else. It's about arrogance. Western media can criticize India all they want to. When they do it, it's freedom of press. But when Indian media criticizes the West, it is ill-informed.
She preaching.
If this isn't arrogance, what is? The Economist says, we taunted Europe by calling them weak and dependent on America. Should we apologize for quoting the president of France? Because Emmanuel Macron said, Europe should not become America's vassal. And what does vassal mean? A subordinate to someone else. The thing is, India doesn't need lectures on diplomacy from The Economist. We have 3rd century manuscripts on military strategy and foreign affairs. 3rd century. People in the US were figuring out agriculture back then. So the interest may be new, but our worldview and ideas are not.
She absolutely roasted The Economist. And The Economist, you did a whole article about how much times you got stuff wrong, yet you still have the audacity, as she says, to criticize Indian media. It's craziness. You got so much wrong. It's ridiculous that you would criticize anybody else. That you critique anybody else. That's wild. But I'm telling you, a lot of they just be saying stuff to say stuff to get views, to get ratings, or it's biased. The news here. I'm sure there are unbiased sources out there. I just don't know what they are, if I'm being honest with you. But Palki Sharma ain't having it. Slap down The Economist with that. Just don't come at her or her network again. She let you know right there she ain't having it. If you guys enjoyed that video, make sure you check this one out next. Also, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy Neal. Out.